State Representative Aaron Vega of Holyoke says this is the year that state legislators will settle a long-standing debate in public education, the school funding formula. Lawmakers couldn't agree on how to get that done last session. But now House and Senate lawmakers will soon hammer out differences in their proposed $1.5 billion spending plans for K-12 education. We spoke about how Vega's work with State Senator Sonia Chang Diaz from Boston and Worcester Representative Mary Keefe helped get the process to where it is.
Actually, last session, when the education bill that unfortunately didn't make it to the finish line, I was very involved in trying to get specifically the low-income ratio together. And the bill that happened last session was going to leave it up to DESE to create a system and create what districts would get what. And I really wasn't comfortable with that. And
DESE
a lot of us
being
weren't.
the Department of Education. And
Secondary,
education.
early and secondary education, exactly.
Yep.
And Senator Chang Diaz had been leading the fight on what became the Promise Act, for a while. She was on the FBRC committee, the Foundation Budget Review Commission, which looked at funding. And
the gap, basically.
The gap, yeah. Well, the gap, and also looking at, so the education formula that we know today was created in 1993 and never really updated. And the three big issues that have happened since 1993 are obviously the cost of health care to our districts. It's a killer to most of our school budgets. The increase in special education costs, especially out-of-district placements. One student with an out-of-district placement can cost a district hundreds of thousands of dollars. And, getting the education that individual deserves, rightfully so, but taking away money from other students, literally. And then the low income. In 93, of course, we had poverty, and this progressive formula from Chapter 70 was to address that. But again, those gaps were just increasing. So at the same time that Massachusetts is, nationally saying we're number one in education, we were also number one in some of the biggest achievement gaps. So, from the time I got elected, education was one of my main focuses, obviously coming from Holyoke. And I've known Senator Chang Diaz for a while, and she's been leading the fight on that. And so we became partners. Bringing Representative Mary Keefe in just made a lot of sense to us because the Promise Act and now what became the Student Opportunity Act really is about the whole Commonwealth, right? It wasn't cities versus rural, it wasn't west versus east. This was about every community needing more and deserving more for education funding. So that Holyoke, Boston, Worcester connection just made a straight line across the Commonwealth.
Because so many times I've spoken with you and other lawmakers here from Western Massachusetts, and specifically looking at the funding piece, the funding formula. So many times the discussion has been it disproportionately impacts Western Massachusetts, and the central and eastern parts of the state don't understand that. So what was the discussion like with the senator and the representative?
Sure, well, so much of that, and the reason why it gets frustrating is that so much of that is based on population. Right, so the reality is that Boston has the biggest population, right? The reality is that Boston's going to have the most kids in poverty. They also have some of the biggest, tax returns, of course, for their businesses. The reality is that places like Worcester, Brockton, Fall River, the gateway cities, were falling behind educationally, specifically around those economically disadvantaged. So the conversation really was about how do we have this be a whole Commonwealth bill. And unfortunately, in the very beginning, it started to become pitted, everyone against Boston. Because again, if you put more money into a formula that's based on charter school reimbursement, based on population, Boston's going to do well. They've got the biggest population. They've got more kids in charter schools. So, of course, they're going to, when you look at raw dollars, it looks like, oh, well, they're getting so much more money than anybody else. But when you look at how that's poured out equitably, then it makes more sense. I think that was a big conversation to have. We've been doing stuff of trying to fix the health insurance, trying to fix the special education. Boston's number, bottom line, is always going to be bigger than Holyoke's or Springfield's, right? But now what we want to look at is to make sure that those students that are economically disadvantaged or English language learners in places like Springfield, Chicopee, Holyoke are going to get their fair share, and that Boston will too, but again, making that progressive formula much more based in reality of 2019, not 1993.
So as you mentioned, and we talked about, this failed last time. We got to the end, really a lot of back and forth about it, but then just talks died. Yep. This time around, the House and Senate have approved a $1.5 billion spending package over 7 years in education. What's different this time around?
I think two things are different. One is that I think that, first of all, the legislature doesn't like to go to bat twice and not hit a home run, right? So I think that we don't want to walk away from this again. The other difference is that the numbers are the same. So last year, the Senate had a version that basically mirrors what we have today. Some differences on charter school reimbursement and other things, but as far as the deciles and the formula, the House version didn't have that. The House version was, let's leave it up to the Department of Secondary and Early Education. Today, they have the same numbers. So the crux of the bill, the meat of the bill, is the same. The projections, the funding, the percentages are all the same. The differences right now are in, I believe, one House, one chamber approved a rural commission to look at rural school issues. Right. There's some little differences. The biggest difference is, as it always is, one word: may or shall. And that is that every district is going to have to present a plan, a 3-year plan to DESE on what they plan to do with this money. Extended learning time, dual language programs, expand pre-K, more PD. There's 8 listings of big topics, but they can be anything. And it's good to have. We want to know what this money is going to go towards, right? And the may or shall is around what the commissioner, is it a sign off by the commissioner or a check off by the commissioner, right? So shall he or she approve those plans, or may he? And that's really where the rubber meets the road. I have to say, though, that I really hope that we don't lose sight of the compromise and the amazing work that people like Chairwoman Alice Peisch did and her team, and all the Progressive Caucus and the Gateway States Caucus and the Black Latino Caucus, where we all came together and focused and dug into this issue and learned about it. I think that you have to allow the Secretary of Education to have a say in how this money is going to be spent. There's no clawbacks. There's no ability for them to take money back from a district if they don't like their plan. If they don't like your plan that's presented, the purpose is to work with that district and hash it out. Right? We want to have evidence-based, data-informed decisions being made by districts, and having DESE approve those districts. Do we worry about the future and how things will happen? But I think at the moment now, we can't let this go by. And again, $1.5 billion investment across the Commonwealth is key.
I want to ask you a question. It might seem like an administrative question to folks maybe listening at home, but I think it's worth exploring here. Last year, when this was taken up, the Senate filed its own bill.
Yes.
This time around, House and Senate each filed legislation. Does that make a difference? Is that significant in any way?
It is significant. I mean, it's significant, and it created a lot of interesting tensions and issues internally in the building.
It's not the way it's usually done.
It's not always the way it's usually done, correct. But even so, I think that because we did that and we pushed the conversation and people, so many of my colleagues dug into this issue and understood it, it gave us the opportunity as House members to talk about the House bill instead of supporting a Senate bill. And the senators that opportunity to support a Senate bill and not a House bill. Unfortunately, there's rivalry, there's tensions between the two chambers, and so when House members support a Senate bill, it's sometimes a little bit of a gray area, right? And so when a House member can say, no, I support the House version of this bill, even if it's identical, it's cover, right? There were 3 bills.
But for someone sitting at home and they hear that, they think, we elect you to go to Beacon Hill to get the people's work done, and this seems like childish infighting. Yeah,
I think that they say no one wants to see the sausage get made, right? I mean, it is sort of it's how it's the behind the scenes work, and I think the reality was that we put forth 2 bills that were identical. That the Promise Act got 102 sponsors. Out of 200 people, right? The governor put forth a bill, and then there was another House bill that was basically the governor's bill in some ways. This is just the process, right? I mean, when you pull the curtain back, people want to see, right? We know now that people are all in uproar about a bill talking about a certain word that they want to ban, right? Yeah. That was filed by a request. So if some constituent says to me, can you file this bill? I say, okay, because it's my duty to. As you said, people want to be part of the process. Just because a bill gets filed, it's not filed, it's not law. And every bill that gets filed, no matter how crazy or outlandish, has a hearing.
That's how we have a state cookie.
That's why exactly.
What are the next steps for this?
Sure. So right now, since there are some differences, there is a conference committee. So 3 senators and 3 representatives will come together into a conference committee and hash out those differences, like any bill. But we're really hopeful, since they're so close, I think that we'll get this done, I hope, before Thanksgiving, get it to the governor. He could obviously try to veto it, but it was unanimous, both the House and the Senate. So anything that he tries to veto, we will override, because we really want it baked into the governor's budget for the next fiscal year.
Last question, briefly. Are you more optimistic this time around than you were last year?
100% more optimistic. This is 10 times the bill, much more support across the board. And what the chairwoman and leadership did with the Student Opportunity Act, I think is something that every district benefits from, and I don't think there's any way that the governor can go against it.